Hey, what's up, black people? I'm trying my best to set this up. I have a little bit of a drive home till I get back, so I thought I would check in and say hi to everybody. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I am driving. I'm driving, and I'm in Chicago traffic. If you've ever been to Chicago, you will know that we are masters of traffic. But then again, though, LA had horrible traffic too. I just got back from Los Angeles, and I want to say what's up to everybody who was there in LA. LA was off the chain. It was awesome. I went to a few events while I was there. When I go to a big city like LA or New York, a lot of times I'll get hit up by a few people that invite me to stuff, and I appreciate it. What's going on? I see you guys saying hello, and I can't see your name on the road, but I see you and I love you and I appreciate you so much. And somebody said I'm a smart brother. Oh well, you ain't telling the truth. I'm only smart about 72.4% of the time. The other 27 point, I might be a dumbass. But anyway, so I went to LA this week, and I went to a few different events that I thought were interesting. One is I went to a play by a young scholar by the name of Fumilola Bagbamelia. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's Nigerian, but she's very in touch with the black experience. She's very, very smart. The play is called Woke Black Folk, and I highly recommend that you see it if you live in in LA or anywhere near there, or you can catch it on DVD. She's the shit. She is amazing. She is cool. She's smart. Her play was off the chain. It was full house, standing ovation. Everybody loved it, and I respect her. I invited her on the podcast, I assume she's gonna hit me back at some point pretty soon. I haven't looked at my Instagram, but I invited her in because I respect people who understand that their point of view isn't the only point of view. I like the fact that even though I think she would probably maybe classify herself possibly as a black feminist. And y'all know how I feel about like white feminism, especially white feminism and blackface. It's an issue. But what I like about her perspective, though, is that she reminds me of of the people that are thoughtful enough to understand other perspectives, to understand why feminism doesn't always lead to good outcomes, especially when you talk about black men getting locked up, sent to prison for nothing, being accused of stuff where they need no goddamn evidence, and you sending a black man to jail for 10 years like Albert Wilson. Hashtag free Albert Wilson. Please hashtag that. This brother's still locked up in prison, and so I'm sorry. Like, I think, Me Too movement and all that is necessary. You got to stop sexual assault, but you got to prove that shit. You can't just have people pointing fingers and making allegations and sending people to jail. Like, what the hell? What kind of power do we believe that people should have over the black man? You get to control somebody's future just with the snap of your fingers with one accusation. Man, I'm never signing on for that shit. I will go to till my casket drops. I will not sign on to any of that shit. You prove to me, you show me proof, then I can hear you out. If you show me no proof, then I'm sorry. It does not mean I don't believe you. It just means that there is no proof. And there's no proof, you cannot prosecute. That's common sense. But anyway, I think she's the kind of person that kind of gets these things, And her play Woke Black Folk, I thought really captured that really well. And the performance was awesome. So I highly recommend it. So that's my endorsement of her work. Second thing I did was I went to speak in South Central down at Leimert Park. I was invited by Dr. Rosie Milligan, and that was really awesome. A lot of people came out for that, and it was a real nice, really warm, exciting community gathering. By the way, in case you guys are here to hear about Kawhi Leonard, just maybe somebody put in the comments that, I know people get mad when I talk about life and I don't jump right to the topic. So for everybody got those short attention spans, somebody type it in the comments after I'm done. Like, whenever I start talking about Kawhi Leonard, just put the time in there so that the people that have short attention spans can go right to the topic. But I'm really processing Los Angeles, and this is what made me think about Kawhi Leonard, because he plays for the Clippers. And so I went down to South Central, and I saw my homeboy Alonzo, who wrote a book called NWA Not Without Alonzo. And Alonzo is actually the guy who introduced Eazy-E, I think, to Dr. Dre or something like that, or Snoop. It was something like that. Like, he's one of the most important pieces of the whole NWA like creation thing. So I thought that was really cool. So I saw Alonzo, and I gave a speech, and I also had I bumped into a member of ADOS. or I don't even say a member, a guy who had an ADOS shirt on. So I gave my speech, and it was great. The people there were wonderful. I love Leimert Park. I love the people in Compton, South Central, all of that. Like they're they're some of the wokest black people ever, and I was really inspired by what I saw. And with people like that, you always want to make sure you come correct and serve the community the best way you can. So it was an honor to address them. And I saw a brother with an ADOS shirt on, and so he's standing there, and I'm sitting there thinking, I bet he's going to probably, ask a pretty aggressive question, because I think that's kind of what I've seen people get, ambushed by ADOS. And the thing is, like, you really can't ambush me, because I'm not really out here trying to like lie. I don't really care. Like, if you say maybe look bad, like, I don't care about that. Like, that stuff does not matter to me. Like, I'm just going to tell you what I think, and that's going to be it. And so the brother brought up Yvette Carnell and asked if I was going to apologize to Yvette over the Talib Kweli interview and things I've said about Yvette and things like that. He also said he represented the Nation of Islam. Now, I thought that was a very inherent, confusing contradiction, because I did not understand how you could ride with Yvette Carnell and say you're repping the Nation of Islam, because Yvette Carnell went out of her way to systematically dismantle and destroy Minister Louis Farrakhan. Like, go watch the video. It's on my channel. When Yvette used to use my channel to build her brand, before we had to part ways, Yvette went in hard on Farrakhan. Not to the point where it was like, oh, well, here's why I disagree with the minister. No. It was like, basically, you're an attention seeker, and what you're saying is wrong, and you're going to hurt black people like this, and you need to stop, blah, blah, blah. It's very belittling, very berating, very almost you could call it emasculating, even though I don't think anybody has the power to emasculate Farrakhan. But it was very disrespectful. It was like, if you're going to step to the minister, step with respect. I don't give a fuck if you agree or disagree. That's fine. You can disagree, but step with respect. And then and so anyway, so the brother brought that up, and I was just kind of like, no, fuck that. Like, I literally was like, you can go find the video. I was like, fuck that. Like, you're disrespecting people that have given everything to black people. Like Claude Anderson. Like, I was like, your leadership has attacked Dr. Claude Anderson. He's a little old man who ain't hurt nobody. He's 84 years old. He's just been out here fighting for black people for 50 years. Your hashtag been around for 6 months, and you up here feeling like you can attack and take down Claude Anderson. And these are men that have never said a negative word about the creators of the hashtag, ADOS and Yvette and Tone. Like, they've never said anything negative. So I told the brother, I said, look, you're my brother. I'm ADOS just like you. ADOS is not a group. It's a designation, like descendant of slaves. If you're an American descendant of slavery, then you're ADOS. My great-great-great-grandfather was named Boyce because his slave master named him Boyce. So, I'm ADOS. A lot of us are, right? If you ADOS and that's who you are, then say it. Say it in the chat. Like, it's cool. But I was like, so membership or those of us who are part of that group, that's fine. But if you're talking about who's going to lead and who we're looking to for leadership, you can't look to guidance to people that are attacking all the black people who would have been natural allies. This whole like attack. Like, I hate this person, I hate that person. That's not cool. You're attacking Claude Anderson, you're attacking Louis Farrakhan, you're attacking all the people that believe in building wealth for ourselves while we wait for the fucking government check. I'm not waiting for no goddamn government check. Fuck the government. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll take the check if it gets here. If you want me to vote for legislation that'll give us the check, I'll vote for that. If you ask my opinion, do I think we deserve a check? The answer is absolutely yes. But you really think I'm gonna sit around and wait for white people to come save me before I am able to be a strong black man? I'm not waiting for white people. Like, seriously, man. Like, are you crazy? Like, you want to wait for a racist government to come save you? Good luck with that shit. So anyway, so it's just kind of like, it was kind of like to this point where, I wasn't mad at the brother for bringing up his point. He brought it up actually very respectfully. It wasn't, like he was just seeking to be mean, seeking to attack, but he brought up his point, and I was like, look, I don't have no issue with any of that. Like it's totally cool. Like, do your thing, but leave Farrakhan alone. Leave Claude Anderson alone. Leave the Pan-Africanists alone. Leave, the people that want to build something for their family, leave them alone. Stop criticizing and start building. Tell us what you built. Tell us what you did. And then you can brag about that. But don't take the people that are actually building something and ridicule it. Like, oh, that little raggedy tiny ass business, that business ain't nothing because black people ain't got no wealth. That's why you ain't got your business is a garbage. Well, fuck you. What business you got? How many black people are you paying? How many black people have you hired? How many black families have you put food on the table for? Seriously, like being woke don't mean being broke. In fact, if you broke it, if you woke and you broke, then you a goddamn joke. Seriously. Like, so straight up point blank period, before anybody gets into talking about black liberation and black this and black that, a motherfucker need to pay the bills. Seriously, y'all gotta excuse me for cussing. I didn't know I was gonna cuss this much, but it comes out and I can't apologize for that. But, you know, before the revolution happens, we gotta feed those fucking babies. Like, I got kids in the house who are gonna be like, yeah, Dad, the revolution's great, but I'm hungry. Like, I need shoes starting, and we need school clothes. You know, so that's what I'm saying is, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you're worthless if you don't have any resources. I'm not saying that. It just means that if you don't have any resources, why don't you connect with, support, and partner with the people that do have the resources? You know, Dr. King, you know, he got his civil rights marches off the ground because he had people ready to write a check. The revolution can't happen until somebody writes a fucking check. If nobody can write a check, there ain't gonna be no resolution. This is gonna be a bunch of begging and bitching and complaining and whining. If somebody can't write a check and fund whatever it is you're trying to do, or at least make sure the lights stay on while you're, you know, preparing the revolution, then you can't win. So we must support our black business owners. We must support our black educators. We must support our black mothers and fathers. We must support, you know, our black people that are out here, you know, in the conscious, you know, community. What, you know, they make fun of them. They call them hoteppers and all that shit. No, don't make fun of those people, because those are the original. Those are the black pioneers. Those are the ones who are ready to build. Those are the builders. Those are the ones who are ready to jump outside of the system and try something new. You know, and so let's find the good with each other and support each other. And I remember even with ADOS, I had actually gone out of my way to try to throw out a peace offering and say, I support the ADOS movement. I just let me know how I can help. And that's when Yvette came back with, well, ADOS don't want you. We don't want you. You ain't got no right to be ADOS. You can't hijack the movement. I'm like, I'm not trying to hijack your fucking movement. You built your platform off of my platform. Like, I gave you your start. Like, what am I going to steal from you? I'm not hijacking anything. I'm not saying I'm the new leader of ADOS. I don't care about that. I'm not trying to beat all that. You know, I introduced you to Dr. Kevin Cosby in Louisville, Kentucky, who is hosting the ADOS conference. I made that introduction. So without that introduction, there would be no place to hold the conference, at least not at that place. So I'm just sitting here saying, you know, you kill the negativity. That's the point. Y'all can go watch the interaction I had with the brother. It was contentious, I think, for him. I think that he felt, you know, he had a certain kind of energy. And when a black man approaches me that way, my goal is not to fight you. I don't want to fight you. My goal is like, okay, how do we get past the bullshit and figure out how we can resolve this? And if we got to agree to disagree, then that's fine too. I'm okay with that, right? But I think at the end of the day, like, you know, all this silliness and immaturity, if you ain't building nothing, if you haven't created anything real, then it doesn't add up to anything. It's just a bunch of chit chat. It's a bunch of talking. So anyway, so that was my interesting interaction in South Central with the ADOS member, and I was glad he brought his question to me. I think that he probably paused a little bit when he knew. I don't think he knew how the leadership of the creators of the hashtag had attacked Farrakhan. I think that if he'd known that, I don't think he would have stepped in that same way. I think that there are a lot of things that people don't know. So I think I'm convinced that most of the people that are enthusiastic about ADOS are good people, and their cause is righteous. For the most part, I just think, you know, like, let's focus on positivity and what we can build together, as opposed to just straight negativity and what somebody else ain't doing and why somebody else is doing everything wrong. Like, you know, man, come on. You got black businesses out here on their last leg, struggling, trying to just find a way to make a way, trying to create something out of nothing, trying to just build something with what they got, trying to do for self, trying to restore dignity to the community. And you can't go out and just ridicule these people because white people ain't wrote us a check yet. I don't think white people gonna write that reparations check, at least for a decade. You know, what you gonna do? Sit around and just get old while you wait for the check? That doesn't make any sense. So anyway, let me keep going. Let me move on. So the next thing that happened in LA, Sunday, we did an investment seminar. It was out at this hotel in the city called San Gabriel. I didn't know it was that far from LA. So those of you who saw how far it was, I apologize. I didn't know that they had picked a place that's that far away. But a lot of people came out, and that was great. And we talked about investing all day long, and it was really, really good. So shout out to everybody who was there. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And I hope that you got everything that you were looking for. And also, don't forget, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we have our masterclass. So if you want to join the masterclass, feel free to go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. Now, somebody asked, am I coming to the Bay Area? And those of you who ask about different cities that I go to, here's the plan. Here's how you can do this. Here's how you can help us help you. If you want us to come to your city, I don't care if it's Roanoke, Virginia. I don't care if it's Butt Crack, Alaska. Basically, what I think you could do to help us is 100 for 100, meaning if you find 50 to 100 people that are willing to put up $100, then we will work with you, right? 50 to 100 people that will put up $100 that will help us cover some of those costs. The big challenge is that travel is time consuming, is very expensive, and a lot of talking I can do with you from home, right? So I don't really like traveling that much, but I'm willing to. The hard part is that you have a lot of people that ask you to do things, but they're not necessarily ready to help financially support the things that they are asking you to do. So if you have a church or an organization, an investment club, a group of people, whatever it is, and you want me to come to your city and do a day-long investing seminar, just aim for 100 by 100 people, $100. Then that'll give us the money to pay for all the plane tickets and the venues and the transportation costs, all the hotel costs, all that stuff. And we can come out to your city and do an event. Like I said, 50 to 100 people. That would be enough to get us started. And then we can have a conversation. Okay, so that's me being honest with you, because these events are not money makers. These are not things where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just, it's making it rain on our company. When you do events, there are tons and tons of tiny costs. Just shipping the merchandise costs over $1,000, right? You're talking about hotels, flights, venue costs, all these things that pop in there, food, everything else. You got to pay for your staff. It's very expensive. So if you guys really want me to come to a city, those who are able to get a group of people together to pull together some money, then we can make it happen. And if you are in that category, just email manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. Let her know who your group is. You write a check, we'll write a check. So whatever costs have not been covered, we'll cover the rest of those costs. So we'll put our money where our mouth is too, but we need the community to put their money where their mouth is also, because I think that you guys have seen the value that I provided to you. I hope that you understand I'm not pretending. This is not a guy pretending to know things. Like, I know these things, right? So anyway, okay, so somebody in the chat, in the comments, can mark 7:13 as the point where I start talking about Kawhi Leonard. So I know y'all make fun of me for being long-winded, but I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep on being who I am. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button. Also, don't forget, if you haven't learned to buy your first share of stock, please go to, you can sign up at blackmoney100.com. There's a free training I put together for you guys on how to buy your first share of stock so you can be an investor right away. I think now would be a good time because the market took a big dip today. So if you like to buy when the market's down, this would be a good time to get started. So go to blackmoney100.com. There's a video there. It's been seen by over 1 million people, and people love it. So you can watch that video and you'll be good. You'll be on your way. All right. So Kawhi Leonard, basically, there's a story I read in The Onion, and a lot of people knew part of this story, but I'd never really had a chance to really analyze it and break it down. Kawhi Leonard, he's a superstar basketball player. He plays for the LA Clippers, and Kawhi is very wealthy. He signed a contract. His most recent contract was $103 million, and that's after his $94 million contract was over. So Kawhi, I think in his last year with the Raptors, he made $16 million. $16 million is a lot of money, right? That's over about $1.2 million a month. So that's a ton of money. Maybe what's about $40,000 a day. So the brother's making bank. Now, what's fascinating is that Kawhi is known. He's like my friend D1, rapper, who's a really good guy. I think I'm trying to get D to come to the All Black National Convention. I gotta hit him. I gotta text him again. But I hope I can get him out there. But anyway, he and D1, one thing they have in common is that they both would drive these raggedy ass cars. They both had these raggedy cars that were made in the 90s. Like, I think D1's car was a 98 Honda Accord. I'm trying to figure out if D1 was even born. Yeah, he was born. He was probably like in elementary school in 98, right? And that's the car that he drove for a long time. And Kawhi Leonard did the same thing. Kawhi Leonard drove this really raggedy ass car for a really long time. And a lot of people thought that was very strange. Like, why would you drive a car like that when you're making all this money? And then what's fascinating is that apparently from the report that I saw, Kawhi got another car. And this car is very, raggedy as well. Now, somebody said it came out of The Onion. So the Onion is a satirical site. So I didn't know if the Onion was always making things up or if they only make up stuff sometimes. And sometimes I don't know. They reported as if it was a real story. There was nothing in it that really stood out as crazy. But you might be right. Maybe that part is satirical. But here's the thing. That's not the issue. The issue is that Kawhi Leonard is a guy that has made a lot of money and hasn't always driven cars that reflect that income level that he has as an athlete. First of all, I think that's really, cool and great for him. What that says to me is this. Here's what it doesn't say to me what it probably says to a lot of people, because I analyze money and the psychology of money. That's my profession, and I love seeing how money shapes our behavior, or how it does not shape, or how it fails to shape our behavior. For a lot of people, it's like this triumphant story of financial intelligence and frugality, and how this is going to put him ahead economically because he's choosing not to drive a fancy car. I can't say you're wrong on that, but I think there's more to it than that, right? And there's more to it in the sense that, I don't think that it's healthy for you to feel somehow to believe that if Kawhi had bought himself, a $300,000 Bugatti or something, that he would be, that he wouldn't be equally capable when it comes to building wealth, or that the athletes that drive fancy cars are suckers and Kawhi is the smart one, right? Some would even argue that Kawhi, that the type of car he chose is a reflection of a potential mental illness, right? Not that he's mentally ill, I don't think he is, but when you have multimillionaires who are really super frugal, like they're trying to save a nickel, instead of spending the whole nickel, they'll try to spend half a nickel. There have been people like that. Who was it? I think it was JP Morgan. JP Morgan, the guy that he worked for, there were three Morgans, if I'm not mistaken. The first JP Morgan that became really rich had a boss that was super frugal, and he never missed a day of work for 70 years. And one day he had pneumonia and had to go home from work, and he was outside in the rain for 3 hours because all the cars that he saw were full, cost a full penny, and he was waiting for the cars that cost half a penny. And this was a man who had millions of dollars in the I think it was the 18th century or something, or the 19th century. So why would you try to save half a penny if a penny is not a big deal for your bank account? Well, that for him, that was actually kind of a mental health issue. Like, it's not normal to be that much of a miser, or that frugal, or that clingy onto your money. So there are therapists who would probably say, okay, I'd like to talk to this person to see what's happening mentally that's causing him to do that. Now, I'm not saying Kawhi's in that category because I don't know him like that. But here's the other thing. So first thing you should understand is that even if Kawhi drove a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 million car, he could still be financially intelligent, financially literate, financially capable, etc. What I do see, this is a more optimistic view potentially of what might be happening in the mind of Kawhi Leonard. I think from a more optimistic standpoint, Kawhi seems to be showing you that he's a person where he's transcended psychologically, he's transcended materialism. Right? Kawhi, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the kind of guy that doesn't get any sort of psychological, orgasm from driving an expensive fancy car, right? And you see that a lot in a lot of billionaires. You see a lot of billionaires like that. A lot of billionaires that drive their little Corolla to work, and they work all day, and they'll literally make $100 million in a week. And they don't feel like they got to go make it rain at the club, or go buy Gucci this or Gucci that. Like, they don't have to show you how much money they have. They don't give a shit about that. They don't have to show themselves that they're successful. They know they're successful. They're not thinking about, like, okay, what materialistic thing can I buy that will make me feel better about my life, or make me feel like I'm a better person, or make me look flyer when I go down the street. They don't care about that. Like, a lot of the guys that have the most money are these little techie digital nerds who wear little regular shirts, have regular size offices, and wear $40 sneakers and whatever. Like, they don't care about that. Maybe what they might see their money as playing another role in their life. They buy into this business, or I can go buy some real estate, or I can make another business that makes them excited, or maybe take and live the life she wants to live. Like money is seen as a powerful tool in the lives of most people, but to see money as something that allows you to have access to fancy material items really kind of speaks to what some might consider to be lower vibrational thinking on some levels, right? Doesn't mean that you're stupid if you want nice stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with nice stuff, right? Even my car isn't, it technically, I think this car's technically a luxury car. I don't know what kind of, I don't know. I got it because I liked it. I thought it was a cool car. I was like, oh, I want that car, right? It didn't break my bank account, but it's not it's not a 98 Honda Accord, right? It's but so there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things or whatever, but a lot of times people like him who are literally like, I don't really give a shit what kind of car I'm in. I don't care how I dress. I care about winning NBA championships, or I care about pursuing my passion and my purpose in life. And I would say I understand that. It's nothing for me to go shopping in Walmart, and I'll have people that will say, "Oh my God, why would you buy clothes at Walmart?" I'm like, because I needed a shirt, and I just wanted to get a shirt, and I don't need a fancy shirt. I don't need to go get my shirt at Bloomingdale's or Saks Fifth Avenue just because I can afford it. I can go to Walmart and get a shirt because the shirt serves its purpose. The purpose of the shirt is to cover my body so I'm not naked when I walk out the house. So I think that that's what I'm seeing with Kawhi and his economic choices. Is I'm seeing a guy who sees money as a pathway to obtain what he needs to do the things that matter to him. They're not, and so I don't think that an expensive car is something that he'll ever get, because you could give him a fancy car and some guys will get really excited about it, like, oh shit, look at that car. I honestly feel like people that are really deeply too much into materialistic stuff, in a lot of cases what I've seen is a lot of people like that, they haven't really found their purpose. They haven't found their passion and their purpose. So when you don't have your passion and your purpose, you tend to chase simple shit. Like guys who don't really have a higher purpose, a higher calling in life, who haven't self-actualized, those tend to be the men who chase women because they feel like they should just have lots of pussy just because they have nothing better to do than to chase women and have sex. Or maybe they're the guys that, will buy the fanciest, most expensive of everything all the time, and eventually you hit a ceiling. You get bored. Like there's no more parties you can go to, no more cars you can drive, no more vacations you can take. You bought 2 or 3 houses, and then what happens is people like that, they get depressed. They get depressed because they don't have anything that gets them out of bed in the morning anymore, because you've had it all. What do you go buy yourself for your birthday when you bought when you literally can buy every single thing in the mall, and you've damn near done that? Like, what do you do? What's going to make you get up and actually be motivated to do anything? Well, for Kawhi, it sounds like he's got some goal that money can't buy. He wants to be the next Michael Jordan. I see that in his eyes. I've watched his transformation as a player, and I've seen him go from being a guy who was known as a defensive stopper to becoming one of the baddest sons of bitches in the entire NBA, and it's been utterly fascinating to observe. And I think Kawhi is a dude who basically is at a point where he's like, I fuck the money. I don't care about the money. I don't care about driving a Bugatti. I don't care about the mansions. I don't care about the women. I don't care about all the extra little perks that come with having a bunch of money. All I care about is winning an NBA title and winning as many rings as I possibly can. Now he's won one title already. He probably wants to win, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, and that's where his purpose is. I don't think he's thinking about a car, right? That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know this guy. Maybe I could be all wrong for all I know. But by the way, I wanted to tell you guys, if you've been following sports, I don't know if you've been following this whole situation with the NCAA and the Rich Paul rule and all this other bullshit. The NCAA just passed a new rule, basically, that's racist, that's designed to keep certain black agents out of college basketball, so they can control the $1 trillion assets, the asset which is the black athlete. And my good friend and respected colleague Chris Broussard really did an amazing job speaking out on this. Chris did a video that was seen by probably 1 million people, and Chris just called it out. And not only did he call it out, but he spoke the language that Chris and I speak when we talk to each other. He talked about the importance of black people fighting power with power. He called the NCAA rule racist. If you don't know Chris is on. You might have seen him on Fox Sports. That's where he does. Does any of you guys know Chris Broussard? If you don't know him, you should know him. Chris Broussard. Look him up. Broussard. If you're into sports, you know Chris Broussard. He's always on Fox and ESPN and all that doing analysis. But anyway, Chris is coming on Dr. Boyce TV tomorrow morning, tomorrow Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you want to come and hang out, in that conversation, just come on in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. or you can watch the recording. And I like Chris. The reason I like Chris, I don't know if y'all remember, Chris went through a situation with where he was basically standing up for his Christian beliefs. I think it was when they were the whole gay marriage conversation was a big deal. And I believe Chris basically said that he believes marriage should be between one man and one woman, which is certainly his right to believe that. And they were trying to get him taken off the air. And Chris held firm. That's what you need. You need black men in the world and in the community who are just sort of, sturdy enough to just stand for what they believe in, and they don't feel like they have to bow down, submit, give up, quit, and cry just because some big white corporation told them to change their behavior, right? So so that's what I like about Chris. That's what we have in common. I believe that the community needs its men. We need to define what a strong black man looks like. We need to define that within ourselves and come up with a definition that makes sense for us as a people. Like, what is a strong black man? To me, a strong black man is a man who's helping take care of black people, who puts the black community first, takes care of kids, even kids that ain't his own. A lot of shout out to y'all brothers out here raising kids that you didn't give birth to. I think that's commendable of you. You have a lot of fathers that for whatever reason they're not around. Maybe they were booted out of the house. Maybe they chose to leave or whatever it is. But a lot of y'all are stepping in for that. Some of y'all are raised by men like this. And I think that we have to have, appreciation days for black men and for black women. Like, I think that the black man doesn't get appreciated. The masculinity in the black community is kind of falling out of style apparently, and nobody cares about that anymore. So I think we got to support that and respect that when we see it. But also for black women, we need to shout out and show appreciation to black women. I was in LA, and that you'd be amazed how many black people out there, how many black men out there refuse to date the black women. It's very weird to me. The brainwashing is very scary, very deep, kind of sick. And it doesn't mean that you can only date black people. It just means, that something's wrong with you if you are constantly rejecting all black women as a collective just because they're black women. Like, that's kind of crazy to me. That's really, you really got to get your head checked. So anyway, Chris Broussard is a guy that I consider to be one of the strong black men, and that was why I was happy to hear that he's coming on the podcast. There's some other great black people coming in. Anthony Browder. I don't know if you guys know Tony Browder, but he's a scholar and he's a great guy. He's a smart guy. I bumped into him on a flight from Guyana. Believe it or not, at 5 a.m. I was getting on a flight in Guyana, of all places, and I bumped in the airport. I bumped into him, and I bumped into Nuri Muhammad from the Nation of Islam, and all three of us were getting on the same flight at the same time at 5 a.m. in Guyana. It was very, very, just super weird, super weird. I was like, I don't know if somebody set this up that made this happen the way it was this way. It was very weird. But anyway, Anthony Browder is coming onto the channel this week, and I look forward to talking to him in public because he's a good guy, a smart guy, and he has a lot of knowledge. And what I like about him as well is that he can really tell us things, give us lessons from a prior generation that we may not have in this generation. He's been doing this for a very long time, so he can give a broader global view of blackness, which I think is very important for us. I think that in order for us to be strong as black people, all roads lead to the diaspora on some level. Every black person needs to at some point kind of think about possibly going to some country in Africa to visit, whatever it is you want to do. So I think a global view of blackness as well as a historic view. He's a great historian, and so literally when he comes in, I'm going to sit back and just listen. I'm going to sit back and be quiet and let him talk, because when you get that broader, longer view of who you are, it allows you to really see things more clearly than you did before. You can come up with better strategies because he, like just when I was talking to him, he was saying, "Oh yeah, well this happened in the 1980s." He explained a lot about how COINTELPRO works and how basically there are agents that they plant in the black communities to try to just create confusion. They're not really there to necessarily push an agenda. They're just trying to get you to not be so solidly committed to your pre-existing agenda, right? So they're like, we don't care what you believe. We just want to make sure you don't believe it entirely. We want to make you question whatever it is that you think you believe or whatever you think you know. We want you to wonder, like, I wonder if that's true or not true. Whoever you believe in, we want you to wonder if you should believe in that person. We want there to be confusion. We'll make accusations and things like that. And accusations, especially for against black men, lead people to say, I don't know if I can trust that guy. I've never seen him rape anybody. I've never seen him do that before, but he might be a rapist. He might be a bad person. So just in case, I'm going to go ahead and throw him away. I'm going to cancel him. So he kind of explained that, and I thought that was a really interesting kind of analysis. And let me see here. I'm looking at some of your comments. Hey Vicky, how you doing, Vicky? I hope you're feeling better, Vicky. I think about you every day, Vicky. You are a gift to the universe, and I hope everybody knows that. I won't say that publicly. Vicky Dillard is one of the greatest people ever, and she's going to be at the All Black National Convention. I don't know if you guys, how many of you are coming to the All Black National Convention? Let me know if you're coming to the convention. It's going to be in Houston the weekend of September 27th. We're going to do 3 straight days. It's going to be the All Black National Convention. It's going to be 3 straight days of unapologetic blackness. So let me know if you're going to come out. It's going to be so Friday, we're going to talk a lot about wealth building. Friday night, we're going to talk about we're going to have attorney Nicole Compton do a session on how to get your business off the ground. I'm going to do a session on how to invest in the stock market. Saturday, we're going to have panels and discussions on love and relationships, politics, men's panel, real estate, things like that. Willie D from the Ghetto Boys will be there. Leadership expert Nicole Price will be there. Who else? Sharif Abdul Malik from We Buy Black. He just confirmed, if I'm not mistaken, he's coming through. Dr. George Frazier, the networking guru of America, is coming through. He's the head of Frazier Nation. And you really want to hear Dr. Frazier. You've seen him on this channel, but you see him. Nomalanga Mushali Moses is coming all the way from Africa, all the way from Botswana. She's flying in. So if you're coming through, let me know that you're coming through, and tell your family, like bring your family. A lot of people see it as kind of a gathering that where they meet people that they haven't seen all year, and they, meeting like-minded people, like that's what I love about it, is that it's a great safe space where you can really be as black as you want to be, and it's totally cool, and the other thing too is that open-mindedness is something that that we really believe in. I think it's okay to, like, I don't really care who you voted for, I really don't, I don't, I saw a lady in South Central yesterday, 2 days ago or whatever, who she said, "You remember me, Dr. Watkins?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. I wish I did." And she said, "I'm the lady who came to your event, and I had the Donald Trump shirt on." And I said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" I gave her a hug, and it was interesting because, she was in South Central at a black event because she cares about the black community, and she just happens to be a Trump supporter. I'm not going to reject her for that. I'm just not, because I don't like it when people try to align your blackness with your political party. I just don't like that. I don't want the Democratic Party hijacking blackness and what it means to be black. Like, seriously, like there is no one way to be black. And so the fact that the lady was there in South Central, of all places, trying to basically elevate her community, figure out how to build wealth in the community and make black people better, that made me respect her. That's all I needed to know. I didn't really care about, like who you voted for. Because to me, it's like, okay, let's say we all go vote for, Joe Biden and he becomes president. Like, do you really think that the black community is going to be better off if Joe Biden is president? Like, you really think our problems are going to be solved if Joe Biden is president, or Marianne Williamson, or Cory Booker, or Kamala Harris, or like, do you really think our community is going to get better? If the answer is no, then what that means is that you're putting your energy into the wrong direction. Like, you're wasting your time. You're majoring in the minors. Like, if you're really trying to fix a problem, you need to have a measuring stick on whether you're actually fixing the problem. You can't get credit for the fact that you think that you might have tried to fix the problem. You can't get credit because somebody promised that they're gonna fix the problem. Like, you have to really be fixing the problem. So again, like, that's one of the challenges I give to anybody who's a black activist, or trying to lead, or whatever it is, forming a hashtag movement or whatever, is what are your tangibles to show that that what you're doing is working? Like, what problem have you solved? What way have you helped black people have better lives? Like, how are their lives better? Are they freer? Meaning, have they left their, have they been able to quit their jobs? Are they able to feed their families better? Are their children better educated? Like, did you build a school? Like what did you do that is tangible and real, that shows that the work you're doing is benefiting black people? And that's the challenge that you run into when you're talking about a political party, Democrat or Republican, is that we gave the Democrats a chance. We gave them 50 years, or more of straight, really about the most consistent, most loyal political support that any group has given any political party. Like, nobody's been more loyal than black people, and nobody's been more left behind than black people. Like, so what that just kind of says is that I'm not going to waste my time being mad at you because you voted for Joe Biden, or because you voted for Trump. I'm not going to waste my time on that, because that's like me getting mad at you because you wore a red shirt and I wanted you to wear blue, but the color of your shirt isn't going to affect how fast you run the 100-meter dash. Like, I'm going to look at you and figure out how fast you're running that day. I'm not going to say, well, you're wearing a red shirt and I need you to wear a blue shirt because blue makes me feel better, and I just want you to to wear that shirt when you're running. That's not going to make you run faster. I need to focus on what did you stretch, have you been training, are you coming out the blocks fast? Like, I need to look at the things that actually matter. And so what I want to encourage you to do is, in your own life, really, when you get into a fight with somebody over something, especially black people, another black person, I need you to ask, like, does it really matter? Like, if I am do what some might call a do-for-selfer, and I'm trying to build wealth, and you are a person who is, I don't know, let's say you are a feminist and you believe in something else. Like, if I decide I want to get mad at you, I literally go through in my brain, I say, does it really matter? Like, does it really, can I allow you to be free to be a feminist and not waste time being mad at you for that? Like maybe I can just let you be who you're gonna be. Like, believe what you're gonna believe. And even I've had to learn from that. Like, I've even had to have times where I've been like, Boyce, you're really arguing about this, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. So figure out if it matters. If it matters, then fight for it. If it doesn't matter, then what happens is, it doesn't mean that you agree or disagree. It just means it's not an issue. Like, I don't think, honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't think sexuality matters. Like, people get caught up in gay versus straight and all that. I don't really care who you have sex with. The only time it matters who you're having sex with is if you're having sex with me. If you're trying to have sex with me, then it does matter. If you're having sex with my woman, then it matters. But if you're not having sex with me and you're not having sex with my woman, then I really don't care who you're having sex with. So that means two things. One, it means I'm not going to give you a bunch of shit because I think you might be gay. I don't care. I run into brothers and sisters all the time, that don't quite seem like they're, that they seem like, something might be going on, but I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? And then, but at the same time, you need to understand also, on your end, it shouldn't matter. Like, don't put it in my face. Don't ask me to tell you I agree or disagree. Don't ask me. Don't bring that to me. Like, I don't want to know. Like, it doesn't mean, it's not like don't ask, don't tell. It's like I have a right to tell you that it's none of my business, and I really don't want to know. I really just don't care. I don't care if you like to hang from chandeliers in the bedroom. I don't care if you like to sleep with puppies. I don't care if you like to do threesomes and foursomes. I don't care if you're promiscuous or not promiscuous. I just don't care. So I think that's okay to say you don't care. And when you say you don't care, people should give you the right to not care. It gets oppressive when people are like, no, you should care. Let me tell you who I slept with yesterday. And like, no, I don't want to know. Like, what does that have to do with building black businesses? What does that have to do with educating black children? What does that have to do with building a stronger black community? It doesn't. It's a non-issue. So actually, there's actually a statistical term for that. It's what they call orthogonality. orthogonality is basically, it's a mathematical way of saying it's irrelevant. It's completely independent, completely disconnected from, from what the core issues are, what the core factors are, what the core variables are. So generally speaking, for black people, in your life, really, also your life. I'm just, you guys, I hope you guys are okay with me doing this stream of consciousness. if my talking, annoys you, then it's okay to go. But what I want to do is encourage you to really understand that the reason a lot of people don't accomplish their goals in life is because they spend a lot of time and a lot of energy on things that do not matter. Wasting time, like having conversations with people that you really don't want to talk to, going places that you really don't want to go, dealing with situations that don't belong to you, solving other people's problems, doing things to impress other people, things like that. And so what I tried to do is, in order to be more efficient with my life, just as a human being, is I started really every day, every time I started doing something, I would say, Boyce, okay, you're going to spend 3 hours doing this. Does this matter? Like, is this really, so let's say, for example, let's say it's something like a lot of times I'll get calls from famous people because they'll hear they'll see my podcast or something and they want to talk. And I'll be like, oh, that's cool. This important person wants to talk to me. And my first reaction is, yeah, of course I'll talk to them. That'd be cool. Yeah. But then I'll be like, Boyce, you're busy. You have a lot of important shit to do. Does it really matter if you talk to this person? Like, is this person going to help you pay any bills? Are they going to help you achieve the goals that actually matter for you? Or are they going to be a distraction, right? Are they going to, so let's say it's somebody, let's say it's like a Chris Rock or somebody really cool like that, right? Like, talking to Chris Rock is not going to help me be better at what I do for you guys every day. Talking to him is not going to put money in my pocket. It's not going to do anything other than just be this cool moment where I get to say, oh my God, I talked to Chris Rock, right? So, or even I used to go on CNN a lot. This is another real life example. I used to go on CNN all the time, and they would call me and I go on and I wasn't making any money. It was a waste of time. They would literally take up your whole fucking day. Like, they would literally take 4 hours of your time just to do a 5-minute segment. Just all the time it took to get to the studio, to put on your clothes and sit around, and it was terrible, right? And then I got to the point I was like, me and my brother were like, this really isn't helping us. Like, going on these TV shows, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So this is not helping us achieve any goals. Like, in fact, once I realized, I said, I actually get, if it's talking about generating like traffic for my website or something like that, I get more traffic from my website when I go on my YouTube channel than I get when I go on CNN. So does it matter? Does it really matter? And the answer was no. So that's why you guys saw me doing a lot less TV, because when they call me and ask me to do TV, I'll be like, why should I do this? Like, what is this going to actually help? How is this going to help my business? Is this going to help anybody I care about? Like, why am I doing this? Am I going to do it just because you're CNN or because you're important or something? No, I'm not going to do that. And if I can't figure out a why, I just don't do it. So that was great, because that helped me cut out a lot of stupid meetings. Everybody want to have a meeting. Everybody want, hey, let's meet for 20 minutes. Why? Like, why does it matter? If I can't figure out the why, then the answer is going to be no. Or I might say, let me think about that. And I'll think about it for 2 weeks. And I'll be like, I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks, trying to figure out why I should do this, right? So figure out your why. Everything from, when you get up out of bed in the morning, to phone calls that you take, meetings that you go to, people that you hang out with, stuff that you do, things you spend money on. Always figure out what your why is, and make sure you're clear on A, what your why is, and B, how that why links back to the things that matter to you in that moment and in this life. If it does not link back to the things that matter to you, then it is again, using that mathematical term, it is orthogonal to your objective. Orthogonality is wasted time, wasted energy. A lot of people don't achieve goals. Our community does not progress a lot of times because of a lot of wasted energy. We do a lot of shit and we don't even know why we're doing it, because we're all living our fucking lives on autopilot. Everybody's doing shit because somebody told them to do it. I had a friend that got married when she got out of college, and she got divorced really quick after that. And I remember I asked her. I said, she was telling me how horrible the marriage was, and I said, wow. I said, so you got married right out of college? She said, yeah. I said, why? I said, why did you do that? And you know what she said? She literally said, I don't know. She said, I just did it because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And so therefore she ended up wasting 8 years of her life, being married to somebody she didn't even like, because she literally just did it because people said, oh, well, you've been with him for 2 years. When are you going to get married? And so when he proposed, she couldn't understand why she should say no. And she didn't have a reason to, why she should say yes. So she just said yes because that's what people tell her to do. Because, of course, if a man asks you to marry him, you're supposed to say yes. Because what good is a woman if she doesn't have a husband, right? That's the belief people have, which is bullshit. So if you can't figure out your why, then don't do it. Don't do it until you come up with a why. That's my brotherly, fatherly, Boyce-ly advice for you for today. Anyway, I'm gonna quit talking. I got a couple of phone calls I gotta make. There's a couple people that called me, so I'm gonna go ahead. I figured out why I should talk to them, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk to a couple. I normally don't talk on the phone, but I don't want to be rude. So anyway, guys, take care and have a great day. And tomorrow I will be on at 9 a.m. Eastern with Chris Broussard from Fox Sports. We're gonna talk about this LeBron thing and everything else. Bitcoin to 100. Is Bitcoin rising? I haven't looked at Bitcoin, so I'm gonna take a look. Yeah. So anyway, have a good day, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget, if you haven't learned to buy your first share of stock, just go to blackmoney100.com and sign up, and you can actually learn to buy your first share of stock. Just sign up at blackmoney100.com. All right, showing love from Seattle. I love Seattle. See you soon. Take care. Peace.